Hi, I'm Teresa Chang.
Hi, I'm Marianne McCara.
Hi, I'm Felicia Grant Cummings.
Hi, I'm Kim Johnson with Moms Navigating Autism.
Hi, I'm Teresa. Welcome to Moms Navigating Autism.
Hi, I'm Felicia Grant Cummings.
Hi, I'm Kim Johnson.
Today we're going to talk about transitioning out of school for those who are graduating. It doesn't matter where on the spectrum they are. If it's that time for them to graduate, they're going to be exiting the school system. And we're going to talk about what parents really need to know through our experiences and what we learned. My child graduated 2 years ago, and we held our final IEP meeting. Now, mind you, my child graduated at the beginning of the pandemic and everything was closed. So at the beginning of the pandemic, which started in March, everybody was in an unsure place. They didn't know whether the schools were opening up, how long this was going to last. You know, it just kind of hit everybody by surprise, and they got it together and they quickly started setting up IEP meetings via Zoom, telephone calls. My IEP meeting was held over the telephone. It was an exit IEP meeting, and we discussed where my son was going to be headed. He was headed towards college, something that everybody really needs to know about before they head into that IEP meeting. Because some colleges, I found out, required that if a child had an IEP, that it needed to be shifted to a 504 plan prior to graduation. So I advise all parents to check with the schools that their kids are going to, because some colleges want the kids to have 504 plans so that they can then be able to work off of that 504 plan. You want to know what you need and what that school needs to make it easier for your child to transition into that school placement. My school, it didn't matter, the college that my son was going to. And actually, he was supposed to enter an Asperger's program, but because of the pandemic, he entered as a regular student because everything
Was what it was.
In any event, you go through applying for schools and you get through that. You know, once you pick a school and you're going to send your child to that school, keep in contact with the school as to what they require, because you definitely want to transfer that IEP over into whatever the future school needs. So if it needs to be transferred to a 504, then transfer it to a 504. But you want to make it so that they can easily pick up for what they need. Some kids, they need extra help. They have centers at colleges that will give them extra help. I actually ended up finding a parents of my son's university group on Facebook, and I entered that group. Actually, they found me. I guess they must have gotten a list of accepted students, and they found me. And so I would ask questions. Does anybody have kids with an IEP? Everybody was trying to figure out, what to do, what the other kids' experiences were. And the one thing I do suggest to parents is, especially if your child has special needs, have your child sign off that they could speak to the parents, because once they exit school, everything becomes the child. He's an adult now. They're of legal age. Mom and dad aren't stepping in anymore, aren't supposed to step in anymore. But, sometimes kids with special needs, my son just says, Mom, you need to help me with this. Or Mom, can you call about this? I'm kind of shy. I don't want to do that. Can you do it for me? But they won't speak to me. So right from the beginning, I said, my son is on the spectrum. He would prefer that, I handle certain things. And they're like, well, he's going to have to fill this out. And they'll hand the colleges have this paperwork says you could talk to them. And so I had him fill it out for Mom and Dad. And then we sent it in and they were able to talk to us. I know that legally, you're supposed to have your exit IEP meeting. You should also receive an exit review that your son has to fill out or your daughter has to fill out, and you send it back to the school. So that's what I experienced.
My son has severe autism. He's nonverbal, has some behaviors, went to a special out-of-district school. So he was supposed to exit and graduate in June of 2021, but again, during the whole pandemic, and we asked for extended service, additional, because of a bill that was being passed through legislator that Governor Cuomo signed at the time, was to extend students that were aging out of school. I went to the school district and asked them to extend it. I had to go back twice because my son, none of the day habs are really open. It's hard to get into a day hab. They're just now starting to open up. And I've discussed this on the show several times. Sorry if people heard it many times. But the school district only gave him an additional 6 months, even though the bill that passed said that they were, recommending that these children get extended till they're 23. But our school district did not. And I spoke to him when I guess it was supposed to be our turn for our exit meeting, IEP meeting, but because he was extended, we never had an official exit meeting. So the stuff that Teresa's talking about, as far as having an exit meeting, they talk about what your goals are going to be for what your next step is, whether it's going to be go on to college. And, Teresa's child's situation, he was going on to college. My son, what I chose for him is to move on to a day hab program. And as we've talked on the show before, there's two different types. There's day hab at a site, and then there's without walls, where they go into the community, they can have a job with a coach-like person with them, an aide. My son needs to have a within walls program, and none of them were calling back during COVID. There was no staff, there was no openings, they weren't allowing people to come on site and visit. So I still was having trouble finding a program, and knowing this, our school district still did not extend my son. So, and that's one of the things that I want to bring up, that, I'm not sure exactly what the bill still says for these children, because obviously my son's only 22 now, so he's still not 23. So there's other children in this situation that might not have found their next thing. They might not be going on to college. They might be also looking for day habs, because I know that my son's class that he was in, they're all getting ready to graduate this year. A lot of them, they were still behind a year. So they're looking at day habs, and they're having trouble finding day hab programs. And some of their school districts, our school districts, aren't extending these students any further than that. And I really, want to tell parents, don't wait till the last minute and hope that the school district's going to do the right thing. There are school districts that did do the right thing, but our school district did not do the right thing by my son, in my opinion, and that is my opinion. And I strongly feel that about our school district. My son ended school in December of this year and had nowhere to go. So he was home this whole time. We were able to go into a program that I spoke about on the program here, and do a trial at the program. And, I was nervous, and part of it is me, because I have to let go. My son wasn't going to have a one-to-one aid, which I knew happens once it goes to day hab. And the fact that it's short staff and things look differently now because of COVID still, things aren't still back to the way they should be. But he actually was accepted into the program. He's been going for 3 weeks now. So yeah, and actually I love it. And the one thing I got to tell you about it is, again, I have to trust that my son doesn't talk. He has to feel comfortable with the people there. And from the beginning, everybody was very nice. That was never the issue there. Trust is something within me that I had to work on myself. But I got to tell you, he doesn't have transportation yet. So I have to drive him every day and pick him up every day. So when you go, now all of a sudden after the trial, it's like I'm starting to see more people in the hallways when they get off the buses. You're starting to see more staff. Everybody's starting to know you by name, by face. and even individuals in the program, because it's all levels, it's any age 18 up to 70 years old, people there of all different disabilities. They start to know my son. We're starting to know the people there. You know, there's certain people we know by name that we see every day. Everybody, it's just like watching and seeing that was the biggest comfort for me, because it is making me feel comfortable. You know, everybody's like a family there. Everybody knows each other. The staff step in and they fill in for somebody if somebody's out in a classroom. They know individuals from all the classrooms. They work with every individual, help everybody off the bus, on the bus. And that speaks volumes to me when I see it. You know, in the beginning, I was so nervous. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to exist, but it has to be, you know, somewhere for him to go every day. He can't sit home and just be in the house all day. He has peers there, whether they talk or he doesn't talk. He's starting to seek out certain people in the classroom. He wants to go sit at different tables, and no matter what's going on, you know, it's just socializing. This is something he needed for socialization, not just because I wanted and had to have him gone out of the house. It was something that he needed so bad, and I see that so much now. I'm so glad I did not give up and kept fighting for it, because he really needed this. I need him to have a purpose to go somewhere. Whether he doesn't talk or can tell you what's going on, it's something that these individuals need so bad, to have socialization and be around other people. So, and the exit intake or outtake, whatever it is that the school district's supposed to provide by law, it is by law that they're supposed to do this. They did not do for us. But at this point, you know, like, again, I can't go back and do anything about it. There's nothing to fight for them for. I just didn't give up on my son and kept trying to get him into a program where he could, you know, fit in and be and have, you know, have a good day every day. I went there yesterday. He was so happy and rocking, and she was like, the teacher said, "Oh, he don't miss you, Mom. Watch, go out the classroom. He's fine here. Watch, go." He didn't even care that he was still laughing and clapping, and you know, he was having a great time. So that says, because I could see it on him, even if he can't tell me, if he didn't enjoy it there, he wouldn't be doing that. So that, you know, that tells me that, you know, that he's enjoying it and he's glad to be out. So, but again, I want to just speak for people that are coming up to this point and having their IEP meetings, you know, look at what the options are. Don't take no for an answer from the school. You know, your child needs you to advocate for them. And I strongly believe advocate for your child. You have to advocate for your child. And that bill that was passed, again, like I said, not all school districts stuck to it. There was many that did and extended their children. But, you know, don't give up. Go to the school district and advocate for your child. And this is the time of year that it's all happening. And that's why I'm glad we're talking about it and bringing it up. I just want people to advocate for their child. And if they have any questions or they're not sure of something, Teresa, she can quote all kinds of laws and things that you can do and the bills that are passed. So, you know, we use this platform to reach out to us, and Teresa are on our webpage. And if we don't have an answer, we could look, we network, we know a lot of people, other parents, and we could reach out to people and get answers for you. So, I mean, I'm encouraging people to reach out to us on this site and ask.
You have to really look at your child, their strengths, and what they can do. You know,
happiness is different for everybody, you know. So.
Exactly. You know, and you look at their strengths and you look at what your child wants to do. And if college isn't right for your child, that's fine. If they have something else in mind that they want to do, you know, a lot of kids.
There's a lot of trade schools. There's a lot of trade schools.
They go to trade schools. Exactly. Trade schools. There's a lot of kids.
It's a profession. There's so many classes. Even the BOCES programs have a lot to offer. Whether in high school or when you graduate in adult education, even at night, they offer a lot of stuff. There's a lot. And they have a lot of programs, satellite and off-site, not necessarily at the college. They're all over if that's what your child can handle.
I keep stressing this. We want to put our children on the road to independence. So, you know, that is the ultimate goal, because we are not going to be there for the rest of their lives.
That's right. I could share my experience about my daughter. We had her last IEP meeting about a month or so ago. And, you know, she was, what I like, since she's been in the high school, that she's been a part of her IEP meetings. So she is actually there too, and she gets to speak up and express, you know, what her needs are, her wants, you know, and she's also been empowered, I think, by that, you know, and she's also been told, you know, some of your requests may not be feasible, but she at least gets to make the request, and then there's an opportunity to at least try to see, you know, what can happen for her. And so I've really enjoyed that process for her to be a part of it. Sometimes we're at battles, you know, I'm saying one thing in the meeting and she's saying, she's denying, and she's saying something, and then I have to give her the look. But you know, and that's just the dynamics of parent and child. But I, for her, have really loved that she's had the voice, been able to, you know, give her voice in the meetings. So our meeting talked about her strengths, talked about the areas where she needed to improve still, or, you know, be shored up, and what that means for her moving into college. It was really good to hear the growth, you know, from the educators that she's made over, you know, the course of her 4 years, including, you know, during the pandemic time. It was good to hear that over time, you know, looking at how she came in as a freshman, and then the skills that she's built upon to where she is now. So, you know, we're excited for her to go to college. She, you know, looked at colleges. She applied to, I think, 4 or 5, and she visited one, two, 3 or 4. I think she visited 4 actually. And one of the college, and they were local colleges within Westchester, but one is further north, and it's a state school, SUNY Cobleskill, and she was accepted into SUNY Cobleskill, and she went to visit with her dad, and we have a visit coming up the end of this month for accepted students to go and, you know, tour, and I'll get to go with her. But one of the reasons that school was put in the mix was because it has a program for students who have IEPs and who are on the spectrum. So, you know, we looked at the program. It's called Career Next, and it's at Schenectady. Let me see. I think I'm just looking to see. It's at SUNY Cobleskill. I think Hudson Valley Community College and Schenectady County Community College. And it is a program to support the students, as I stated. It is extra. It's not part of the regular tuition. So it's an extra cost, but we do find that, you know, it's valuable to us to have her in this program. And the program has counselors to meet with the students. They will meet with them. They will help them organize their classwork, their projects, their assignments, tests, helping them to be able to communicate with professors when they need to.
Yeah.
Like all of those little things that, like, as parents we would do, or if your child had an aide with them, that the aide would do. Those are some of the things that, you know, they provide those services and support for the students. So I'm really excited because, you know, other than having something like this, I would be very cautious about sending her away, and so far, and, you know, whether she's ready. But if she has certain supports in place, I feel more confident.
Yeah.
Some of the things she still has to grow to, you know, that's just the nature of a young person, you know, they still have to grow to certain things. So in terms of that, you know, once we get the exit plan, we will forward that to the college, but I've also, we're in the process of making sure that they have her current IEP, so they just have it on file and know, you know, what she has, you know, going on now. You spoke about so many things that you discussed that I just wanted to kind of piggyback on. Teresa, you were talking about know your child and know what their interests are. And, you know, one of those things that we found when my husband took my daughter to Cobleskill, she was talking and talking and talking. She was trying to decide between two majors. And as she was talking, the admissions person and staff was listening to her, but then said, hey, you're talking about animals on one end, because she does love animals, but she also is very gifted in like gardening and planting. So she proceeded to pull out all these pictures on her phone and talk about, oh, she planted this, she planted that. And one season she had pumpkins that went in the street, and another season she had gourds, you know, that she was giving away all during the, you know, fall harvest time for, you know, she was going to school with like 10 gourds a day to give them away. And, you know, the counselor, you know, kind of zeroed in, you know, to say, you're talking about animals and it's great to love animals, but it looks like your gift is here, you know? And I think it made a difference for her to hear that from somebody else besides mom, you know? And so that piggies back to what you said, Teresa, about know your child. And, you know, I think be open to what it is that they want to do. Like I never told her, no, don't do X, Y, Z, but I just told her to be open-minded, you know? And then for somebody else to speak to her who didn't know her as well as we do, to then say, hey, from what you shared with me, this is what I see, you know, I thought was a great opportunity for her to, you know, take advisement, you know, from someone else also. Kim, you talked about purpose, you know, your son going to school, going to the program that he's in now and finding purpose and in his day, you know, and we all need that. We all need to find our purpose and in small places and large, you know, and that the socialization is so key, you know, for kids. My daughter has decided to major in horticulture and plant science, right? But she loves animals. And at the school, they have they have everything there. They have horses, they have goats, I think they have chickens too. They have a fishery, they have a ton of things, and they encourage students to work. So she can actually be in school, but also get her animal fix, if you would, by, you know, maybe getting a job with the horses or any of the animals and being able to have that interaction, which is really important to her, you know, because she just
But
loves
farm to
animals.
table, that's all together, right?
Yes, it's all
Animals, the
together.
vegetables.
Right, because
Yeah.
and it's an agricultural school, and they have, you know, a wide range of majors. But now fast forward, my daughter was going to classes. I guess, you know, she has acquired a certain number of credits, and so there's very few classes for her to be able to take. So she has a lot of study halls, or she had a lot of study halls. And, you know, that wasn't acceptable because there was some changes that needed to be made in her her program, her schedule, I think at the half-year mark. And it was going to have her have two, a study hall and a late arrival and a study hall, period 1 and period 2. And I said, and then later in the day, she has study hall like every other day when it's not gym classes. And what I found was that she was not motivated to come to class. To get up in the morning, who wants to get up and go to school to sit for 2 periods? If you're a kid who needs to be engaged and hands-on, that doesn't work. And so, you know, I talked with the counselors, I talked with people at the schools, and, you know, it just seemed to be an uphill battle, I'll say it that way. I had to keep pressing. And if I was a parent who just said, oh, okay, that's her schedule, okay, that's what her schedule is, I think it would have disconnected her senior year, which is so important. Going, you know, making that transition, it would have disconnected her from school. So what was found was a culinary program that they have in the school. It's not the BOCES program, but it's the one that's right in the school. And it was for a different population of students, but they got approval to allow her to go into the program.
Okay,
and can I tell you, that's the best period 1 and period 2 that I think
Yeah.
she's ever had. The first day or two, I said, well, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, we're just watching Chef. And I said, no, you're going to ask Chef what he's cooking. Tell him to email you what he's cooking and the ingredients. We'll get the ingredients and you cook with Chef. And so it was the best thing. I just wish I had videotaped, but it was an experience that like none other. They were home, but Kira's got her ingredients and she's cooking at home with her laptop, with the chef who's got his laptop, and the other kids are watching, you know, but it just took that extra step to say, ask Chef what ingredients you're going to need.
Right.
So that you'll be prepared to cook with him, not just watch him. It was just a little step for me to say, you don't like, because I know my kid, like she needs to be engaged. Like, let's get her engaged. So the fact that, you know, the program was, you know, opened up or approved for her to take made all the difference. And that she was also, when they were home and virtual, she still could cook because we had the resources, you know, the stove is there, you know, I just said, listen, you got to clean up whatever, you know, you make. You got to clean up. That was a little bit of a task for her, but you know, it also taught her more accountability. Like, okay, I made the mess. I got to clean it up, you know?
Right.
And it's not that she hasn't done that before, but it was a different level of, she's cooked in our house, but there's a different level of cooking, a different level of ingredients and spices and terms. And how that has segued is that Peekskill High School now has a partnership with Westchester Community College. And I think, Kim, that's what you're referring to is the partnership is for a culinary certificate program.
Is that where? Yeah, I heard it was going to be down there by where Charlesport, where
yes, that's
Crystal
where
Bay
it
was,
is.
whatever that is. Yeah.
Yes, Factoria and the old Crystal Bay. So what the students do is, and she's involved. She was asked to be involved in this program, but I don't know if she would have been involved had she not been in this other culinary class, which I was requesting that she's not sitting home for two periods or sitting in a study hall for 2 periods. So I always say, like, look how avenues open up, you know, you're persistent on one end and you're advocating for your child, but then she gets an experience that she never had before that now has a whole other, you know, program. And this program, she goes 2 days a week there, and she has a chef's coat. She has a hat.
So that one's already, she started that already.
Yeah, she started. It's a 12-week program. So she is involved in that, and they go right to the schools. I mean, the students go right to the restaurant, and they're learning, you know, the back of the house. They're learning all of the prep, all of the cutting, all of the plating, all of that. Along with, you know,
chef or something, yeah.
Yes. And so they're learning that Mondays and Tuesdays, and then on Wednesdays, they do classroom work where, you know, they need to learn terms, and they need to, you know, learn more about the you know, the academic, if you would, of cooking and what it means for food safety, that kind of thing. That when they finish, they'll be gaining a certificate on food safety. And then she gets to work on the weekends also. Thank you, Altis, for providing us with this platform.
And we want to remind everybody that we are mothers. We're not professionals. We're sharing our experiences so that we can help you with your autism child.
Follow us on social media. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe.